Okay folks, here we go. This is the astrology series where I created a look for each astrological sign. I asked you to tell me in the comments section in yesterday's video what sign you were, and the very first comment that I received was by Henri89, and they said they were a Libra. Well, it's a funny thing, Henri. I'm assuming your name is Henri. I'm a Libra too. So we are starting with my sign. And before we get started, I just wanted to reiterate one thing from yesterday's video, and that is this series is about fun and creativity. It is not about what colors look good on certain signs or anything like that. It's just about having fun and being creative, and that's really all there is to it. So don't take it too seriously or overthink it. Alright, so I did put together a little bit of information as kind of a teaser of things to come, and I wrote down on a piece of paper a little bit of information about certain looks, just in case you were curious. There are going to be 2 looks in this series that are going to be so wearable that you could wear them to work or school, and those are going to be the Capricorn and Pisces looks. And there are a couple looks that are going to be extremely colorful and bright, and you probably would not want to wear them to work or school, but you know, it depends, I suppose, what you do for a living and where you go to school. But the colorful looks are going to be Aquarius and Aries. And then the look that has the darkest, deepest colors is going to be today's look, which I'm not sure that it was a good idea to start with the darkest look, but it is what it is. The look that's going to have the lightest colors in it is going to be the look that I came up with for Taurus. And the look that's going to be the coolest in tone is going to be Aquarius. And the warmest look is going to be Cancer. So yeah, I just figured I would, you know, give you a little teaser about some of the ideas behind some of the looks. Alright, let's get started. Now, what I did do, so that this video isn't going to end up being 30-something minutes long, is I did apply just a few products to get started, because some products are kind of boring to watch people put on, or I think so. So I've already applied my EOS lip balm to get my lips nice and moisturized. Then I put some Benefit Ooh La Lift on my dark circles to hopefully lighten them up a little bit. Then I applied Physicians Formula Argan Wear BB Cream to my face, which is, you know, more or less a foundation because it's in the shade light to medium. So it just gives me a little more color. Then I used Maybelline SuperStay Better Skin Concealer in the shade light, again on the dark circles. Then I put some powder, and I used my MAC Studio Fix powder in the shade NW20, and I like to use this powder over BB creams, and I had forgotten that when I first bought that BB cream, so I applied that all over my face. And then I did my brows. I filled in my brows with NYX Microbrow pencil in the shade Taupe, and then I added a little bit of Ardell Pro Brow I can't talk today. I added a little bit of Ardell Pro Brow Pomade in blonde. Alright, got it that time. Alright, so we're going to pick it up from there and begin with contour. I'm going to contour my face with my NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. I haven't used this in a while, and when I first bought it, I was so crazy about it, and I was like, why did I stop using this? It's a really great palette. So I'm going to contour my face with this shade right here, which, if you're holding the palette the correct way, it would be the bottom row, 3rd shade, because this is a nice cool contour color that works well with my skin tone. and I'm going to use a Real Techniques sculpting brush. Yeah, whenever I try to use other contours, either it takes forever to blend them out, or, you know, the color just isn't right. So this is a good one for my skin tone. And I really like this brush for sculpting. I do have some other contour brushes, but this is my favorite. I guess I don't need to hold this palette anymore. All right, now for a blush, I'm going to use NARS Sin. This is a really pretty plum blush, and I'm going to use my Sephora Pro Flawless Airbrush in number 56, and I originally bought this for foundation, but I love it for blush. So if you have this brush and you've only used it for foundation, you might want to try it with your blush, because I really like using a small brush for blush, because it helps you get like more better placement, and it blends well too. So NARS blushes are really pigmented, so I'm going to first stipple it on, and then I'm going to blend it right into, merge it with that contour so that there won't be any line of separation. Yeah, this is a pretty, really pretty blush. I don't hear too many people talk about NARS Sin that much anymore. So if you're doing any kind of a look that has plum or berry tones, this is a really good blush to kind of pull the whole thing together. Okay. Alright, so face products are finished. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a base for my eyes, and I'm going to use MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and I might, when the series is finished, I might be doing a video about eyeshadow bases, because I was playing around with eyeshadow bases the other day and discovered some things that I never realized before. So when the series is over, I definitely want to let you guys know about some things that I discovered about eyeshadow bases. So anyway, if you see me using Painterly a lot in the near future, it's because of all the eyeshadow bases I own. This makes my eyeshadows go on the best, I feel. And I'm going to use a MAC 239 shader brush to apply that. No, I'm not. I just grabbed the wrong brush. I meant to say that I was going to use the MAC 242 shader brush. What is the difference, you might be asking? Well, the 242 shader brush works better with cream products, and the 239 works better with powder products. So that's why I'm using the 242. All right, let's get started. Yeah, I noticed some things about eyeshadow bases the other day when I was doing some swatching, and I was like, aha, that's good to know. So I'm just applying a light layer of this all over the eye area. This will cancel out veining discoloration, and it will make my eyeshadows go on better, or make the eyeshadow go on better, I should say, because I'm only using one eyeshadow for this look. But I'm gonna concentrate it more in some areas than others and blend it out and smoke it out. This is going to be a smoky eye look using only one shadow. Oh yeah, I didn't say anything about Libra. Libra is a cardinal sign. Libra is the leader or ruler of all the air signs. Libras make good bosses, supervisors because of that reason. So because Libra is an air sign and smoke is air, we're doing a smoky eye. Just trying to blend out the edges. Alright, so I've got my eyeshadow base on. Now we're going to move on to the hard part. Because you know, one shadow looks they can be very simple if you're using a cream eyeshadow, but we're using a powder eyeshadow today, so that is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, the eyeshadow that I'm using, and let me take it out of the palette just in case, so that I don't drop it, which I have been known to do, and smash a bunch of eyeshadows. We're going to use MAC Embark, which is a very deep, whoa, I can't believe it. I think I jinxed myself by talking about dropping eyeshadows. It didn't break, thank goodness. I'm going to use MAC Embark, which is a very deep brown eyeshadow. It has a reddish tone to it, so that's what we're going to use on our eyes today. So I'm going to begin with the 239 brush, which I mentioned before, which is good for powder products. And I'm going to put some of that on my lids. This is a matte shadow, by the way. So see, it's gonna be a tough shadow to work with, but I chose this for the color, and you will see why as we go along. Yeah, matte shadows, especially the original matte formula from MAC, don't really blend that well, but I really wanted to use this for the color. So I'm just applying this to my lid. And you can make this as dark or light as you want. You know, obviously the more product you use, the more dramatic it's going to be. I'm probably going to make this, you know, not as dark because my skin is pretty light, so it would look bad if I made it too dark. And I'm just looking at my brushes here, trying to figure out which one I'm going to use. I'm just going to grab this Rite Aid eye brush. It's one of their renewal brushes from Rite Aid. And I'm going to put some more product on that brush. And then I'm going to put some color in the crease. And I'm going to concentrate this on the outside portion. Maybe from the midpoint on. Yeah, if you have a Rite Aid near you, check out their eye brushes. They're really inexpensive and very nice. Okay, now I'm gonna work that middle section in and down a little bit. Okay, now I think I'm gonna use that same brush and just put just a little more color on the lid area. And just kind of blend the whole thing together. And what you'll notice about smoky looks is they don't really look that great until you add eyeliner and mascara, and that just pulls the whole thing together, in case you're thinking to yourself, wow, that doesn't look good at all. All right, let's move on and do the other eye. Go back to my shader brush. Yeah, don't put too much product on the brush initially, because it's a whole lot easier to use less product than it is to start with too much and then have to blend it all out. You know, you make a lot less work for yourself that way. Now I'm switching back to the Rite Aid brush and starting from the outside, just working that crease area, and then go in. Okay, now put a little bit more on my brush, that same brush, and then just kind of lightly blend that over the eyelid. And make sure you get some, you know, down close to that top lash line so that it doesn't look muted in that area. Okay, that looks pretty even. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Zoeva pencil brush, and by the way, somebody had asked me if I knew of another brand that sells a similar brush, and I was on the MAC website this morning looking at stuff, and I saw one very similar to this on the MAC website, so I guess they make one as well, because I was saying how I love this brush for taking a little bit of color and putting it underneath the lower lash line, which is what I'm going to do right now. And yeah, I don't know how I ever lived without this before, because trying to do that with any other kind of brush is very difficult. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the corner and just drag it like right across my lower lashes. And bring it down. I go about 3/4 of the way. You know, don't put too much product on your brush, because you want to try to keep some balance between what you put up here and what you put down here. And I keep dipping back my brush back into the eyeshadow and just applying a little bit at a time. You want to kind of take your time with this so that it will come out the way you want it to, and just then you can evenly distribute the color and just keep kind of brushing it underneath. Just add a little bit at a time. It's kind of hard for me to see because I don't have the light on in my mirror, because if I do, it's going to give you guys an orange yellow glow that's gonna make it difficult to see. So hopefully that's balanced. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Clinique Quickliner for Eyes Intense in the shade Black Honey, and I'm going to put that on my waterline. This is a really nice eyeliner. I had never tried one of these until recently. It came in that little kit that I showed you guys the other day. Okay, so got some eyeliner on the top lash line. Next I'm going to use CoverGirl, the SuperSizer mascara. Ooh, I'm just determined I'm going to break that eyeshadow. Let me move it out of the way now that I'm done with it. I saw somebody talking about this in a video the other day, and they were saying that they really didn't like it. I was kind of surprised because I think it's a really nice mascara. So, but you know, different people like different things, I guess, when it comes to mascara. It just depends on your lashes. Certain kinds of mascara just work better for some people, you know, it depends. Like, I'm sure you've noticed that I don't curl my lashes. I just don't happen to like the way that looks. My lashes are pretty long, and the shape of them and the way, like, just the way they go, I like them better the way they are rather than curl. I just don't like that curl lash look. So that's just sort of a matter of preference. Same thing with false lashes. When I'm not filming videos, I wear prescription glasses, so if I wore false lashes, they'd be like banging against the inside of my glasses, so that's not an option. Not only that, but when you wear false lashes, you have to use lash glue, and a lot of lash glues have latex, and I'm allergic to latex, so I would have to buy special glue, and you know, it's just more trouble than it's worth. I have really sensitive eyes too, so I don't think I could handle doing false lashes. Okay, eyes are done. All that leaves is lips. I'm going to use the Clinique Black Honey lipstick that I showed you guys the other day. Obviously, I think you can kind of tell where I'm going here with this plummy, dark berry type look. And I really like this lipstick, and you can do a lot with it and adjust it depending on what you use for a lip liner with it and how much of it you apply. You can build it up on your lips if you want to, or you can just put a small amount. It's totally up to you. So the other day when I showed it to you, I used a Boots No. 7 lip liner in Plum. Today I'm going to use a different lip liner just to kind of, you know, show you how you can alter the color a little bit. And this is Wet n Wild's cream lip liner in Brandy Wine. So this is more of a purple, purple-ish type color, whereas the Boots one was more of a plum. It is a plum. All right, so I'm gonna line my lips and fill them in, and when you do this, take your time, because if you don't take your time, you're more likely to mess it up. So first I'm going to line my lips. And then I'm going to fill them in. When I fill them in, I just kind of take the edge of the pencil and just kind of like shade it. Okay, so now I have like a nice berry type stain on my lips. And I'm gonna put some of this Clinique Black Honey lipstick. I know it looks crazy in the tube, but it doesn't go on that way. I mean, if you kept building it and you used a darker lip liner underneath it, for example, MAC Night Moth, let me show you. If you want a really, really deep, dark lip, MAC Night Moth. I don't know if you can see that color. It's like a really dark purple, but I thought that the Wet n Wild Brandy wine one would be more wearable. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but something about the shape of this and the texture of it makes it a little difficult to apply. So I'm going to use a lip brush. This is a L'Oreal lip brush that I found at